Let's move on to the layout of Canvas now. So from the top here, we're going to choose layout, and this is where you can start changing the layout of your website. So as you can see, if you remember in the last video tutorials, we changed the background color to like a grey. That will change when we change this setting in a moment, but first of all let's go onto the site width. So you can see there that's set at 960 width. Probably like it to be a little bit bigger here, so I could change the width. You can move that up. If I choose to set it to 1090 pixels and then refresh the site, you can see that it's got a little bit bigger there, and you can move that up or down. So if you wanted a site that was 820 width, move the slider, click on Save Changes, refresh the website. There you go. I'm going to move it up to about 1000. Let's try that. Possibly a bit more. 1100. Click on Save Changes again. That's slightly bigger now. I'll be happy with that. Then you've got the main layout. So it's basically you're selecting the main content in the sidebar alignment, and you can choose between. You can have a single layout. That's without the sidebar. And you can have a right hand sidebar or a left hand sidebar. Let me choose left and show you that one. That's going to put the sidebar onto the left now. Now, most people who visit websites, they expect the sidebar to be on the right hand side, so I'm going to choose right hand side. You can also have two columns as well. Let me just show you the two column layout. So that's two columns saved. I'll refresh the sides again, and there'll be a column here, but we haven't got any widgets yet. We'll explain widgets in another video. But for now we'll set my site at right hand column, and then click on Save Changes, and that will go back to normal. There you go. Okay, so the next one down is the footer widget areas. Now there's widgets, and basically this is just at the footer here, which I'll show you in another video tutorial. You can add widgets, and you can put like links in there or text, and you're allowed up to 4 at a max. So you can choose no widget areas, or 1, or 2 widget areas, or 3. At the moment it's set at 4, but we'll leave it at that. You can come back and change these settings when we've gone through the widgets part of WordPress. So the next one is enable fixed mobile layout. Now Canvas is mobile responsive, so it basically fits on any device. So if I shrink it down now, you can see that when somebody views it on a mobile phone, it fits in perfectly. And then I can expand that, and it will just start fitting in to whatever size I change in my browser. So if I enable fixed mobile layout, that's basically, if I just tick that box there and refresh the site, nothing's going to change when you view in normal view. But when I go down, you can see that you don't get the responsiveness of the theme. So make sure that's unticked. And then we've got the box layout. So as it is now, I can create it as a box layout. So if I enable boxed layout style and choose the box background color as white, and then click Save Changes, we're now going to have that in a boxed background like so. And I kind of like the box background, so I'll leave it at that for now. And then going to move down, you can change the background color of the box. You can have it like a grey color, and you'll see that the background there has changed to a grey color. I'm going to leave mine as white, so I'll change the box background color back to white. You've got margin next, box margin top and bottom. As you can see here, there's not a margin, it's straight flush with the top. If I change that to 20, the numbers will always be like pixels, so 20 pixels, and then we'll put 20 at the bottom. Click on Save Changes, that will bring it down a bit, as you can see, and there's a margin at the bottom as well. Moving on down, the box border top and bottom. So the border you'll see here, you can't see very well because we've got a grey background, but let's just show you. So if we wanted that 5 pixels, you wanted it to be black, the border changes, and you can see the border at the top there And obviously I can do that all the way around the side, so if I wanted it to be like 5 pixels all the way around, I'd put 5 pixels in the left and right, change the colour to black, and then clicking on Save Changes there, you'll see the border come all the way around the sides. I'm not a big fan of the border, so I'll just leave that as no pixels, no pixels, and click Save Changes, and the border goes. Next part of this then is the box rounded corners. So as you can see here, it's just a square layout of the canvas. If I change that to 4 pixels and click on Save Changes, there you are, you've got a bit of a rounded corner on all the edges of your site. I don't want any rounded corners, so I'll just leave that set at 0. And you can also have the box shadow. This enables the box shadow will only show in a CSS3 compatible browser, so I untick that. You're not going to be able to see it, I don't think, because it's the grey background, but you can have a little shadow around the sides. In fact, if I go back to general styling and change the background colour to white and refresh that, you'll see the shadow. Back to layout, and I'll tick the box there that says box shadow. If I refresh that, you'll see a bit of a shadow come around your theme. Next step down then, we'll move on down here now, so the full width layout. So I can have and enable a full width header, so as you can see it's in a box layout. If I tick set header container to display full width, you're not going to get it because you've set it as a boxed layout. So if I untick that box, scroll down, click on Save Changes again, you've got a full width header there, and then you can also have a full width footer. So let me just tick that, click on Save Changes. So now we've got a full width header and a full width footer, and I can change the colours of these further down in this. Header background colour as well. So if I wanted to change the header to a grey colour, click Save Changes again. Always click Save Changes, and that will save everything. You can see that I can have a header and a footer. But for now I'm just going to keep it on the box layout style, so I'll retick that box and leave that as it is, and then untick those 2 boxes. Also put a header background image in there, so it will cover all this. Have a nice little image in place of the colour, same as you can do with the background. I don't want that, so I'll leave that as is, but if you did want to upload a background image, upload it here as you would normally, like we showed you, and decide whether you wanted to repeat if it's a tiled image. And then the footer, you can only have a colour really, there's no background image that you can use in the footer, so you just select the footer background colour. So I wanted it to be blue, I could choose that colour and then click on Save Changes. And we're back to the box layout, and the footer will only show if I untick that. And don't forget that we have got it set as box layout, so that's going to work, but if I set header and footer again, remember that we chose blue, reload the page, you'll see that we've got a blue footer. But again, I want a box layout style, so I'll just retick that box, and that will disable that then, and we'll get back to the boxed layout. So there we go, that's the layout settings. Moving on to the next part is the header and footer, and we'll cover that in the next set of video tutorials.